talking to the head coach of the Jefferson Forest Cavaliers, JT Cruz. We're going to focus on the Gretna Hawks as it's Gretna week. How excited are you for week one? Is it more excitement or more nerves?
That's a really good question, man. Honestly, it's probably a mix kind of right down the middle, right? Like, you get through preseason, you get through these two scrimmages, and you feel like you got a pretty good idea of who's who and what's what on your team and, who's doing what, but like you never really know until those kids get out there and they're under the lights and they're feeling that pressure for a lot of these kids for the first time. Especially with the situation that we're in right now, having turned over a decent portion of our roster, graduating a lot of seniors and bringing in some really good, talented players to fill those shoes, but just guys that have never played varsity football before. And so you think you know, but you never really know. So like, yeah, we're excited, man. I'm excited to see these guys go out here and play, but I'm also nervous, like, man, I've never seen them play before. Are they gonna be able to handle it?
Not to go back in revisionist history, but in the past year or two when you had so many people coming back, was there less nerves, more excitement, or did the emotions change any?
And to me, obviously being the offensive coordinator and kind of focusing on the offensive side of the ball, I've got a great defensive coordinator in Brian Burford and feel totally confident in him handling that side of the ball, which is great for me in the sense that I get to focus on the offensive side. And so having a guy like Josiah Bell at quarterback who's been your starter for 3 years, there's a certain level of comfort that comes with that, and knowing we're going to be on the same page regardless. By the end of that third year, it's like, dude, we're finishing each other's sentences. He knows exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly what he's looking for. I know what works for him. He knows what I'm trying to do. There's a level of comfort there that when you graduate all that experience and it's gone, there is a little bit of nerves because all of a sudden, man, hey, as the head coach at Jefferson Forest, I've never had another starting quarterback, right? Joe was injured for a couple games his junior year, but for the most part, he's been my guy. And so having somebody else come in and fill those shoes, sure, there's a level of nerves that go with that, but on the same hand, that's high school football. You don't get new guys in there every year. And so, like I said, man, I'm excited to see what these guys do when they first go out there and step on this field.
I asked you a question at Media Day, and we'll talk about Media Day in a second, but I asked you a question of what's the game you were most looking forward to? And if my memory serves me correct, I want to say you said the first one.
Well,
go for it.
Can't look past that first one, yeah. And so what's kind of cool about us playing Gretna is Coach Miller took over Gretna the same year that I took over JF. This is year 4 for him, and it's year 4 for us. And I think they've kind of undergone a similar growth pattern that we have. And kind of you watch their film every year, right? I'm prepping for Gretna week 1 every year, and going into last year's game, it was a lot of the same guys that I had seen in the previous years. There are guys that I felt like, man, we played against this kid for feels like forever now. Well, those kids aren't there anymore. And so I think it's kind of the same story in that they're kind of reloading their roster. They've bringing in some new players that again, watching them on film are incredibly talented, as a Gretna football team is always going to be. Those guys are as storied a program as any in Virginia. So it's exciting in that sense to kind of look at it in a mirror and see a mirror image of yourself. And also, every time we played Gretna, it's gone down to the wire, going all the way back to my first year. And so it's like, that's the one I'm looking forward to because that's the one we got to win to start things off with.
I have asked your baseball coach this before, and he has laughed at me when I've used the term must win. Is week 1 a must win?
They're all must wins. They're all must wins. I don't think any coach out there is sitting there saying no, it's okay. We can lose this one. No, they're every single game is must win. Especially when you're talking about playing in the Seminole District when every team is going to be good. Every team is going to be competing for a championship. Man, they're all must wins. And even in these out of district games, you want to go out there and set the tone right so that when you do get into Seminole District play, you're ready to go against these juggernauts like Heritage, EC Glass, and LCA. And I can go all the way down the list. Every team in the Seminoles want a state title, and they're all ready to go out there and whoop you if you don't play your game.
Well, that was kind of the gist of the question too, because if every game is a must win, and you look at how tough the Seminole is, and every coach will tell you that, and they'll tell you that with honesty, but the non-district games really seem like you got to get those because with the way the Virginia High School League does the playoff system, you got to get the non-district games because they're points.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. You got to win those. You got to win the district games too, man. They're all must wins, and that's kind of the nature of football too. You talked about baseball, and granted, they only play 20, But even football, you only play 10 games. Like, that's it. You're working year round. Our kids started lifting in January. And most of those guys were lifting on their own prior to that. Like, you start working so before the season. You put in all these hours, all this time, and then you go out there and you only get 10 opportunities guaranteed. And so, yeah, they're all must win.
Is must win something that comes out of JT Cruz's vocabulary a lot, though?
Not
okay.
necessarily in that sense, because our goal as a football team is not to go out there and win the game. And I say that, and of course you want to win.
Sure.
But our goal as a football team is to go out and play the best football that we are capable of playing. We have a saying in our program, it's about us, meaning that it's not about Gretna, and Gretna's a great team. Don't get me wrong. They're as formidable opponent as you'll find at this stage in the season. But we feel like it's about us. We are playing against ourselves in the sense that if we go out and play the way that we are capable of playing, execute the way that we are capable of executing offensively, defensively, and on special teams, that nobody can beat us regardless of the opponent. But that's the challenge, right? Can you go out there and can you execute the way that you're able to every single play throughout the course of a game? And it sounds easy to say, but it's not easy to go out there and do, to maintain the level of focus and intensity that you have to compete at that level for 4 quarters of football. That's tough. And so in that sense, it's more about us than it is about the opponent that we're playing. And so the challenge is not going out there and beating them. It's, can we play to the level that we are capable of playing?